40.6, 5.1, and 54.2.
Yes.
All right.
That was
Carbon.
hydrogen, and oxygen.
Yes.
Okay. So 12 grams to 1 mole, 1 mole, 1 gram, 1 mole, 16 grams.
Oh.
So 40.6 divided by 12, 3.383 moles, 5.1 grams would be moles, and 54.2 divided by 16, 3.387. All right, so out of those three, who appears to be the smallest? The first one. All right, so we'll divide by the smallest. So we get 1. Looking at that, I know when I divide by that, that's going to be 1. Just looking at that, I'm guessing that's going to be a half. I hear a 1.5 out there. All right. All right, so if you get a half, write your formula. C1, H1.5, O1. What do we do anytime we have a half? All right, we're going to take the formula. We're going to multiply by the inverse, which is 2. So what do we get?
C2H3O2.
That's the empirical formula. Okay? Now, we have to do the second part of the problem. You need the molecular formula. So what 2 pieces of information do we need?
The original and the AMU.
Okay, so we need the C2, the H3, the O2, which I'm assuming is Annabelle's version of the original, and the AMU, which was, all right, 177. All right, so what are we going to do with the original and the AMU? All right, we need to find the mass. So we're going to take this, and we're going to find the mass. All right, so how many C's do we have? How many H's do we have? How many O's do we have? So what's the mass of C? Mass of H? Mass of O?
16.
So we get 24, we get 3, we get 32. Add that up, we're going to have 7, 9, 59. Everybody with us on that? All right, so 177 divide 59 gives you what?
3.
Now, that tells us the formula was reduced by 3. So we're going to take 3 and we're going to multiply it through the original formula. So C2, H3, O2 gives us what formula?
C6H9O6. That's the answer.
Questions?
That's the answer.
That's the answer.
Yeah, that's one answer. That's the molecular.
Questions? He found something he liked about Lexington, Faith.
I like you as well.
I'm glad, Herman. I like you. I'm going to miss you.
I'm gonna miss you.
All right. Noah. Guys, I can't hear Noah. If your reciprocal will only be a 0.5, so you will only have to multiply by 2. Okay, I will not give you a third or a fourth. No. That's why I told you. You will only get a whole number or a half. All right, questions? All right, you need a periodic table and a calculator and a writing utensil. Yes, you may.
Wait, Is this quiz all math?
You want to be kind of.
I put this on myself today, so I
Oh, you gonna be here all day?
Everybody has.
I mean, I think
Thank you. Thank you. There's only 5 places. Thank you. Like, I honestly didn't even know.
welcome. All right. Put your name on your quiz.
Yes.
Show your work.
No.
Okay. One of the answers wrong. You can get partial credits. So show your work.
Okay, all right. It's gonna take me a long time.
You don't get a long time.
Well.
So don't take forever.
Each question is worth 20 points.
Each question's worth 20 points. Very good.
Can you help me out real quick? On where is sodium? Can I keep this?
Number 11.
Can I get my blue sheet out so I know what at 2 letters down?
Say what?
Can I get my blue sheet out?
No, you don't need blue sheet.
I can't find sulfur.
You can't find who?
Sulfur.
Sulfur's number 16.
This doesn't give me molecular mass. This doesn't give me molecular mass.
Because I don't want an empirical formula or a molecular formula. I want the empirical.
Oh. Does have to be like exactly.
It'll be pretty close. What does that round to?
1.5.
Yes.
Okay, so this one. If I got that and that,
Mm-hmm.
would it be terrible if I didn't round up and have the same, or should I leave it at 0.688?
Okay.
So would it really make a difference? How much am I divided it by?
Would it be easier if I just came and sat beside you?
Probably.
Is it okay for this one just going with the 100 exactly?
Yes. How many of you are still working? Jeez Louise. How many of you are working now? Who's working now? Just Herman and Victory and Faith. I'm down to 3.
Wall?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have Caleb Galloway?
I do.
Can you send him to the office, please? He's leaving.
I will.
Thank you.
Welcome. One through 9.
Right.
Faith, you done? Victory. You done? Herman, you done? How many more you got?
On the last one.
Okay. All right, while Herman's finishing up, if you will, pass your papers to the front. And typically for our next topic, we don't need calculators, but every time I say that, people can't multiply or add, so
We're gonna need calculator.
you might want to use one. But you don't need a periodic table, and you're not going to need an oxidation. Now, for those of you who are struggling to finish those 5 questions, when we do the test on stoichiometry, there are 14 questions, and you do not get longer than our hour and a half.
Well, it's just 14 questions.
Yeah, it's only 14 questions. We took 35 minutes to do 5 on this quiz. I'm talking not this next test, the test beyond that. The one that's on stoichiometry is 14 questions.
Wait, can you say that word again?
Stoichiometry. I'll spell it, put it on the board when we do it. All right, my point is, some of us were struggling for 5 questions that we just did yesterday. Okay? Y'all got to pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, so today, we're done with the math for about a week and a half, okay? So other than needing a calculator to multiply or add, we won't be using math for about a week and a half. Because we're only going to focus on chemical reactions for the next week and a half. We're going to learn to balance them, learn to write them, learn to predict the products. By the time you take the test in a week and a half, you will only be given the left side of the reaction. You'll have to predict the right side and balance. You'll also have to figure out, will the reaction occur? Yes or no. And if it's yes, predict the products. If it's no, you'll just tell me there's no reaction. Now, we're going to start our unit like we started yesterday. So just add this to yesterday. But for those of you who have to have titles, all right, we started yesterday by talking about the 3 parts, right? So today, we want to talk about the symbols that are in chemical reactions, which is where we left off yesterday. All right, so in the reaction that we were talking about yesterday, all right, we did not do, I've got that in here. Make sure I don't forget any symbols that you might see. That way people don't yell at me after the test. All right, so the symbols that I had in the equation yesterday were the states. So I had an S, I had a G, we could have had an L, we could have had an AQ, or we could have had a CR. Those are the ones that are most common that you might see. Now, the first 3 I would think everybody would know. What does S stand for? Solid. What does G stand for? L. Good. Anybody know what AQ stands for? Air quality. We don't usually have those in chemical reactions. AQ stands for aqueous, which means dissolved in water. Unless it is water, almost everything that you guys drink is going to be aqueous. Tea, soft drinks, juice is going to be aqueous, okay? It is something that's dissolved in water. Now, CR won't make a whole lot of sense to any of you because we haven't studied it yet. Down the road we will. This is a crystalline solid. There are 2 types of solids. Crystalline is one of the 2 types. Amorphous is the other. This is one that has a specific crystal pattern. Did anybody ever grow crystals maybe back in elementary school? Okay, anybody grow like rock candy? All right, if you did, that's the type of crystal structure, and it is a crystalline solid. Sugar, salt, emeralds, diamonds, those types of things are going to be crystalline solids. Granite. Okay. Now, we drew the arrows yesterday. This is a yield sign. Later in the semester, we will have 2 arrows, which stands for reversible reactions. All right, and we'll do that when we get to equilibrium, which is a topic most students absolutely despise, but unfortunately you have no way to avoid that. Sometimes you will have arrows after a compound, like this arrow goes up after the compound. That means a gas is released. You know, the little arrow goes up right there. That's a gas is released. Now, you could also have an arrow that goes down, such as PbI2. Let's say you have a down arrow. What do you think a down arrow might mean?
Gas is produced.
Okay, it's not a gas. That's a solid. What was the name of the solid we talked about way back in that first week? A precipitate. Okay, so this will be a precipitate that's formed. Precipitate is formed.
Will this matter when we're doing our equation?
No, it will not affect balancing. Okay, these are just symbols. Now, I think everything else we have left are just things that will be on the arrows. Can't think of anything else that you might see except things written on the arrows. All right, does everybody have what's on this board? Because I hate to make it smaller for the people at the back at this point. Cheyenne's going to need binoculars before long. You're good? Okay. All right, so things that you might see on the arrows. Okay, you might see a triangle on the arrows. You might see something like 2 ATM on the arrow, or you might see a compound written on the arrow. I think those are the only things you might see. What? Where? A precipitate, which is a solid. Okay? All right. So we know that the triangle means delta, but it doesn't mean delta when we put it on an arrow. Okay? It has nothing to do with it. All right? This means heat is added. Okay? Heat is added. 2 ATM has nothing to do with the bank. All right? The number is just the amount of pressure.
Would it always be 2?
No. Could have any number. Right? And I just picked 2. It could be 3, 4, 5. Atmospheric pressure is 1. So any number greater than 1 would alter the pressure. And MnO2 is a catalyst. Okay, and you know that from biology class. So some of y'all were saying it. What is it? Yep, it speeds up a reaction. Okay, so anytime you see a compound written on the arrow, it's just a catalyst and it speeds up a reaction. Now, if you see any of these things in a reaction, does it do anything to the reaction in terms of writing it or balancing it? No. All right? But you may see these things in the reaction. Now, for the remainder of our time doing chemical reactions, I will not be talking about these things because anybody can go home and learn what these parts are. Okay? My focus will be on how to do the application parts. That's gross memorization. Go home and learn. So,
Do we have to know these?
do you have to know these? We talked about this yesterday. There are 3 questions on the test 3 of them are these. Each of them are 2 points. Some of you will lose all 6 points because you will not learn these parts. We'll never look at them again. And I get some very creative answers on what these things are on test day. Okay? Y'all are very creative on test day. I will give you all that. All right, so we're going to start with balancing today. Now, there are really no notes to go with balancing reactions. All right?
So we just like watch you do it.
I'm going to walk through a couple and explain. Okay? Now, I could write some stuff down, but really it's trial and error. Okay? For the most part, we're going to balance by picking one element and sticking with balancing the one element first. And I'm going to show you some things that will make it a little more helpful for you. Good. All right? Now, if you had a middle school teacher that wasn't a sub, odds are good that your middle school teacher tried to teach this and probably did some easy reactions so that you have a basic understanding of the concept. Okay? So there's only one rule that we have to follow when we balance equations. And it's called the law of what? Anybody know?
Physics.
Are you in a physics class?
Conversion.
Now, what does the law of conservation of mass say?
Nothing can go away, like the mass doesn't.
No, that can be
Destroyed. Yeah.
Okay.
She had it. Destroyed or created.
There you go. Mass is not created or destroyed in an ordinary chemical reaction. So, if you have 4 irons on the left, if you have 4 FEs on the left, you have to have 4 FEs on the right. All right? So, our goal is to learn how to do that today using coefficients. So, in a balanced equation, the equation I wrote up here yesterday was Fe plus O2 goes to Fe2O3. Now, this has a name, and it's called a subscript. Okay? Somebody tell me what a subscript tells us. Okay, I need to know how many what are.
How many molecules of that? Atoms?
They're atoms. Okay. All right, so a subscript tells the number of atoms. All right, and it cannot be changed. And sometimes you're going to want to change it because it makes life so much easier for you. But you can't change that. All right? Whatever the subscript is, you can't alter it. Now, we're going to add coefficients. Coefficients go out front. Now, today, while I'm teaching, I'm going to draw lines in front of each of the compounds. All right? I don't draw lines on the worksheets. I don't draw lines on the quiz. I don't draw lines starting tomorrow. But for today, I will draw lines for instructional purposes. Now, coefficients go out front. They work just like they do in math class. If you write, and you have x plus 4, and you put a 3 here, what does that 3 do? It multiplies and it distributes. Okay? 2 things. Multiplies and distributes. So you know that that would be 3x, and that would be 12, right? It does the exact same thing in chemistry class. When you put a coefficient, let's just say that you put a 3 here. This 3 will multiply to Fe and multiply and distribute to the O. It goes to both elements just like that 3 goes from here to X and to 4. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, if you can keep that straight, then you can balance. Okay? So, the other thing that I would tell you is balance one element at a time. It doesn't matter if you start with Fe or if you start with O. People ask me all the time, which one do I pick to start with? I pick the one with the biggest subscripts. But it does not matter which one you pick. If you pick one and it doesn't balance and it's wrong, as long as you're only changing coefficients, who put the coefficients there? We did. We could change coefficients. We can't change what numbers? Subscripts. Yes, ma'am. It multiplies with the subscripts. Okay? So, let's say we balanced Fe first. How many Fe's are here?
2.
So, in order to get 2 Fe's here, I have how many to start with? Well, if there's no number written there, what is it understood to be? 1. There's 1 Fe. So, there's 2. There's 1. I need to have the same number on both sides. What did I say happened if I put a coefficient here? The numbers do what? They multiply and distribute. So, if I need 2, I put a 2 there. 2 times 1 is 2. I made 2 ions. Now, my oxygens. I have how many oxygens here?
3.
I have how many here?
2.
So if I need 3, can I multiply by 2 and get 3?
No.
Can I multiply by 3 and get 2? Of course not. So I can't get 2 or 3 on either side. So what number do 2 and 3 have in common? 6. So can I get 6 O's here? What number would I put to get 6? Can I get 6 O's here? What would I put? 2. Now, when I put a 2 there, what happens when I put that 2 there? It changes the Fe because that made 6 oxygens. And I don't ever write these out. I'm just doing it for instructional purposes. And I made how many irons? I made 4 irons. Now, I need to fix this iron. Who put that 2 there? I did. Okay, it's not like changing the subscript. I'm the person who put that there. So I'm going to fix that. So I need how many irons on this side? So I'm going to change it because 4 times 1 makes 4. That make sense? Okay, let's do it on.
Wait, so what were the easy we were taught? This clicks. Like, I remember doing this, but I don't remember the easy way.
I don't know another easy way.
I remember like we would make a chart and we'd write.
Oh, no, we are never going to make a chart in here.
I remember.
Well,
Like, no. We're not writing all that crap down like ever.
When it has like the plus or minus symbol between it, does that mean you can put like separate coefficients?
Like,
Right there you can put 2, but on the second one you can't.
you cannot put a number in here because there's no plus sign. Correct. All right.
Ms. Wong,
Yes.
could I have Dylan Harrison to the guidance for just a few minutes, please?
Sure. Take the vest. All right, so if we look at this one. All right, what do you want to balance first? This is an easy one. You're starting easy before we go to anything challenging.
I would do the SB scale 5.
All right, SB or CL? Which element out of that?
Me, SB comes first.
Okay, SB. What subscript is on SB?
1.
What subscript is on SB?
1.
So they're balanced. So pick a different element. SB's.
CL.
All right, so CL.
Just kidding, they both have 5.
No. Not both CLs have 5. This CL has what on it?
5.
This CL Miss Wall made a mistake.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me change it to blue.
See, that's why I was like.
Oh, you know what's next?
Roll line 2, 3, 2. Or is it
I have a question.
This is what happens when you get old. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
See, that's why I was like,
Yeah, no, I got it down.
they're all balanced.
No, they were not all supposed to be balanced. I did the oxidation numbers wrong in my head. Yes, ma'am.
How did the SB go from doing CL to being BR?
Right.
You're gonna learn how to do that.
Well, maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'm just gonna let them be.
It's not an option. You're gonna learn how. Is a single displacement reaction.
Okay, let's do CL first.
Okay, so how many CLs are on the left?
5.
How many are on the right?
2.
So can I get 2 on this side?
No.
Can you get 5 on this side? So what are we gonna do?
10.
Okay, so how do I get 10 here?
5.
And how do I get 10 here?
2.
Okay, are we good with that?
Yeah.
Now, so how many SBs did you make?
2.
Can you make 2 on this side?
Yes.
What do you do? Fabulous. How many BRs did you make?
10.
Can you get 10?
5.
Wait, what'd you start with again?
Yeah, those are
You went
easy.
fast.
Hold up.
What'd you start, like, what made?
What did we start with, Annabelle?
CL.
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 We're gonna need to do like.
Right, like, I don't know how to, like, start it, like.
Yeah, how do you like know which one you want to start with?
She said it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
What would you start with? She said the one with the biggest subscript. Yeah. Let's go.
First time I did one.
Oh, okay. You can call really good. I don't know what you want to do. Oh, that. I can't.
All right, this is another easy one. All right, so tell me what to pick. All right, so how many oxygens are here? How many are here?
3.
So what am I gonna put here?
3.
Okay, that's got 3, so I'll just put a 3 there. How many AGs did I make? So what am I gonna put here? And how many aluminums are here? So what am I gonna put here?
2.
Do you have the general concept? All right, now let's bring in some polyatomic ions.
No, let's do one more. Because I can't write them down. Wait, then you'll be done with it by the time I'm writing them down. So give me a second.
Yep.
So then what we just do, what do we put? We said Al2O3.
Was it just one?
If you want, you can either leave it blank like I did, or if you're bothered by it, you can write a 1. If you're somebody who just has to have a coefficient, you can write a 1.
Okay.
I typically leave it blank, but if you need to write a coefficient, you can write a 1.
Okay.
Whoops. Back to my black.
Oh no,
Brother, what is this?
All right, let me make sure I didn't screw up again.
Did screw up.
You wrote it down.
Yeah, we're good. Blank lines.
I can't even do the easy one. Now you want to activate after I already wrote it down? Brother,
Say what?
should activate in the beginning, because now I'm ruined.
Yeah.
I gotta
So we don't count the ones that are using.
Count what?
They don't have a plus.
No, we don't count as we don't count as.
All right, so we want to balance these. Rather than counting the elements in the parentheses separately, we're going to balance them as whole units. Okay? So, the easiest way to balance these is to count them as sulfate. So, I'm going to first of all put parentheses around my PO4. So it matches my PO4 here. SO4 I drew parentheses around so it matches there. Okay? So rather than have to count sulfur separately and sulfur separately, how many sulfates are on this side? There's one. How many sulfates are on this side? 5. Now, why did I put the little zigzaggies in there? Does this match this? Yes. So I'm trying to emphasize it doesn't matter what's inside the parentheses. There's how many of these parentheses? 1. There's how many here? 5. So if there's 5 on this side and there's only 1 on this side, I just need 5 of them on this side. So how do I get 5 on this side? I put a 5. So I made 5 sulfates. So how many sodiums did I make? Can I get 10 sodiums? Okay, so perhaps starting with sulfate wasn't the best plan. So let's try something different. All right? That's why I'm telling you it's trial and error. Okay? So you're going to pick something different. Okay? I'm trying to do it so people figure out that you don't always hit it the right time, the first time. So, yes. That's why I balanced it with iron wrong the first time. All right? So, try phosphate. If phosphate has 1, how many? Don't balance in ink. In case you hadn't figured that out.
Too late.
Oops. How many phosphates are here? How many are here? So, might not work again. So if you have 5 and you only have 1, are you going to put a 5 here, right? So, how many NAs do we make?
3.
15.
Can I make 15?
No.
So we're going to erase. So, what other things haven't we tried? The NA or the MN. Try one of those. All right. So how many NAs are here?
2.
How many over there?
3.
So we can put a what here? We can put a 3 and that would make,
6.
and I can put a what here?
2.
And that would make 6. That made how many sulfates?
3.
Can I make 3 sulfates?
No.
No.
That was the right one. Oh, it's okay.
All right. And what do I know about MEN?
It has 3.
And there's how many there?
2.
So I can put what here?
2.
2.
Okay, 2 made,
6.
and I can put what there?
3.
That made 6. All right, so how many phosphates do I have? I made 10 phosphates. Can I make 10 phosphates?
Yes.
Okay, so I have 1,
10.
so I can put 10 right there, right?
Yes.
All right, how many NAs did I make?
30.
Can I make 30?
Yes.
How did I make 30?
15.
All right, so I got 30. I made 15 sulfates. Can I make 15 sulfates? How many do I have over here? 15.
Right.
Now,
Never again.
it gets a little frustrating when there are 4 things, and which one did we get right? The 4th one. Out of 4 things, we did it wrong 3 times before we got it right on the 4th try. Okay? It works that way sometimes. Now, not a lot you can do about that. It just happens. Now, some of you will have recognized that faster, sooner. A couple people were trying to get my attention to go, Ms. Wall, try this one. because they recognized it. Some of you would not have recognized it faster. Okay? That's why I told you it's trial and error. Keep working your way through the ions. Yes, that's why I said ahead of time, I'm trying to do it wrong so that I can show you the process of, okay, it was the wrong ion. Go to the next one. Okay? And just keep working your way through the problem until you get it right. Because on a quiz or a test, if you do it wrong, some of you are going to give up. Keep on the next quiz. These are 14-point questions. Is there any partial credit?
No.
You either balanced it right or you didn't.
That's tomorrow.
Okay, I won't tell you.
What? I said, when is it?
All right. Let's do this one.
Right, just add on to it.
You know, y'all make it sound like you're doing terrible.
I got 77 in math. I said, okay, so. I had a 65 in math, 77 here.
We have very few bad grades in here, so stop moaning. Alright, this one is usually the one that causes the most trouble because it has a bunch of oxygens in it. Okay, it has no parentheses. I know. So when you look at this, Rosanna, are you having a bad day? You what? Feel good? Oh, we'll keep your germs over there.
Oh, yeah, you got the flu, stay away.
Oh, no. My little sister was.
Yeah, stay on over there.
She don't know water.
We'll hose down your desk with Lysol at 11:40. All right, so how many cartridges you got?
Three.
All right, so we're gonna put what over here? Okay. Now, how many H's are here?
8.
So how am I gonna get 8 H's? All right, so this is the hard part for most people. You have oxygen in both of these compounds, right? What is in the middle of both of these compounds? A plus sign. So the total from this side has to be added together. So how many O's are here? 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 4. So how many total oxygens are on the product side? There's 10. Okay? So on the reactant side, how do we get 10? We put 5. Okay? And then again, since this one doesn't have anything, you can leave it blank, or you can write a 1 if you're one of those people who needs a coefficient there instead of a blank line. Okay? Think you can practice?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't have a choice.
Can you please tell us what the quiz is?
All right. Y'all are not slow-witted people. I'm telling you we have a quiz tomorrow. What do you think the quiz is on? It's on balancing.
Why did you do
It's
that?
all you.
Understand you need practice, which is what we're doing now and for homework.
I didn't know it was
Well, then you don't have to do the homework, because you won't be here tomorrow, or the quiz tomorrow. Oh. All right, we're doing 1 through 9. All right, 1 through 9.
I already don't know.
On to my grade.
I don't.
Appreciate it.
No. What are we doing? So we can draw lines.
1 through 9.
So like, the lines help, we can draw them.
Paper from yesterday.
What was it? Oh, the lab.
The live paper. They were pretty good. These are pretty good. I don't know why you'd be worried about these. I'm not.
Well,
That's why you put a question mark knowing good and well, I didn't finish. Put a question mark. Oh.
Well,
Well, we can keep not finished.
what?
I cannot believe this. You minus 20 when you know I didn't have enough time to do this BS.
What did we do wrong?
That's because you spent 20 plus minutes on question 1.
Because I didn't know step through it. Should have at least given us a 75. Let's hear how much effort we give. Can I check my graph real quick? What is it?
We're laughing. Probably had to move the lunch.
Oh, no.
I set the bonus rate back at the nickel.
If you have questions, I will ask and answer them tomorrow, because Herman's coming to make it a 4th period, so
What would be the date for the bonus rate?
I will answer tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow. Herman's doing it 4th period, so he's the only one who has it left to go, so let's not give him the answer before he does it 4th period.
You want to whisper?
Before I'm stuck.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
I was rolling, I was so good.
And I got stuck on.
Yeah.
Right.
If you get stuck on one, cruise down to some more and come back to it.
I'm stuck past 4. I'm stuck on 3.
I'm on 2.
And then unstick yourself by going to another one and then coming back to it. Try the ones you can do and then come back to the ones you're stuck on.
That works.
Hey, you went up.
There you go.
Oh my God, why did you get this freaking graded?
Ah, got it, I got it. Not number 3, not number 3.
First.
Yes. Do I put it in as 100%? You're right, I should fix that. Did I put it in the computer's 103?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Interesting thing. Tell me why you can't do it. No, you can. You can use prefixes.
No, oxygen and
Oh my God.
we did it. You know what? She said she asked her about it, so I said, okay.
Job?
And that's gonna be all.
Thank you.
I just picked up that 3.
I got number 5.
Is it?
Yes. 2
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like number 3.
Break it. Yes, but it only stretches so far from my hand. What does it do?
Yeah.
Put it on my hand
So we go here
so that I can.
3, 4, 1, 2,
literally on your gradient.
You be quiet.
Stretch my wrist.
3
and
so
bend it back.
4.
I broke it back in
It ain't
July.
easy to
I
be.
spent 4 months in physical therapy. And so I
It's
still
definitely
work
worth
with
it.
people
You have to add
and my
those.
wrist.
So we can have to
So I sit here, when I think about it, work on stretching my wrist. So I can take about 10, 15 minutes of this before I find out. Like this small,
I'm trying to do 3.
which we can all sit here and do this with. I'll see what I can get. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Emery's friend has one of those. She played volleyball, and one of the muscles in her, I don't know what it's.
Because it wasn't
So she has to put that around.
I mean, I have virtually no strength in my hand.
Wow.
I mean, I can now get my fingers almost touch where I can get them to touch. But, oh, this was free. But, you know, I paid thousands.
Yeah.
I paid thousands to Wake Forest Baptist, so it wasn't free.
No. For just some little.
You know, but here, check my hand.
Wow.
Yeah, but feel how hard I'm squeezing it. That's all I got.
Okay, yeah.
It's better than what you get.
Oh, yeah. This is about 65 on the pressure gauge. This is a 20. It was a 3 when I started there. Oh, that was a 3 after 2 months of physical therapy. Yeah.
And I
I got a
In
question.
July.
No.
Honestly, I'll put it in. Oh.
Yeah. And I may never get it back. So.
Why did it age and separated?
You're on number one?
Why you want
They're all separated. I give up.
It's on the outer side. Did you get Can she go over 1
Kyle must be.
This is 1, 2, 1, 2.
You know what you're doing.
You treat it over
I got you. Did you get it? What is it?
Try. So I don't know if it's upstairs or both ends.
I am dying.
I did 1 and 2. That's what you really.
Alright.
This is.
How many?
Question.
Thank you.
Well, what if you're
You distribute the 2 to the CA?
Number 7 through 9.
On one side. Right?
Oh, the O's, my number 8, so you have to add them again.
Alright, who else has a question?
The whole class.
The whole class.
Are we gonna go over this
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Okay, so what's for homework?
Different one.
Oh,
I need an exorcism.
You need an exorcism. Holy crap. Here's she exorcism here.
I feel bad for
I'm not a
her.
great cat. Cat.
I just don't have to be exercised. Alright, chemical
Well, I just
reaction.
wanted to inform you in case you cared.
We don't.
You don't have an A. See?
Alright, where are we at here?
An F and a half?
She hasn't taken
I
it.
didn't think you go to there. Just wanted to put a 0 in. So I had a 92, but not.
Oh my God, you put the test in.
Yeah.
Like a quiz in?
I don't even know. I said he put the test in. He put the test in. He also put his research in, but I got a 0 on it. So it was a progression.
Alright, so let's look at the answers.
It was on the board.
Mind you, there's no answers, so pay attention.
Oh, no, you weren't.
Alright, so in the first one,
So 4 questions.
how many O's do you have?
2.
So we put a 2 there. We made 2 MGs, so we put a 2 there.
That was so easy.
Alright, if you want to put a 1 there, make yourself happy, knock yourself out. Alright, this is just like the one we did a minute ago. There's 2 O's, there's 3 O's. We went to 6, we made a 2 there. I made 6 O's, 3 to make 6 O's, 4 FEs, so we put a 4 there.
You should call students up to do this.
I probably should, but we don't have time.
Let me do number 30.
Go ahead, Anna.
Let me do number 30.
All right. No. There's how many O's here? This is where people get hung up. There's 3 plus 1, which is how many? 4. So put a 2 there. That made 4 O's.
Yeah.
That's 2 N's, 2 N's, 2 H's, 2 H's.
I'm mad.
Okay? That's where people get hung up on number 3.
So we only had to put 1, 2 in.
That's it.
Put a 2.
That's it.
So we add the 0 on the.
The oxygens on the left have to equal the oxygens on the right. And since there's a plus sign right here, this O adds to those O's. So you have a total of 4. Okay? Number 4.
That arrow's an equal sign.
That arrow's an equal sign. If you want to think about it that way, yes, go ahead. Okay? So in this one, there's 3 FEs, so 3. There's 4 O's, so 4. Then there's 8, so we need a 4. All right, this one, again, I'm getting rid of what's inside. There's 2 and 3, so I'm going to put a 3 there and a 2 there. There's 3 PBs, so 3, 2 ALs, so 2. And this one I need to draw in the parentheses. That 3 is where? Inside or outside?
Yeah.
So I'm putting it inside. So that means there's a 1 on the outside. So I'm going to put a 2 there. There's 2 silvers, so 2, 1 copper, 1 copper.
Oh, Jesus.
He's here. Now, when you go to balance this one, do I have an OH that looks like an OH over here on this side?
No.
Then you got to break it apart. So I have how many H's right here?
2.
And I have how many right there? 1. Okay, so we're going to have to add those up separately. Now, for me, I tend to go ahead and do the stuff other than H's and O's first. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up my Cl. There's how many Cl's?
2.
So I'm going to do it first. My calcium's good. Now I'm going to do my H's and my O's. All right, so how many H's are here?
2.
Plus how many are here?
2.
So 2 plus 2 is?
4.
How do I get 4 here?
2.
I made how many O's?
2.
And how many O's are here?
2.
It's done.
So you just added 2.
All right, we have the same problem in this one. We have OH and no OH over here. So my PO4 is a polyatomic ion. So we put those in parentheses, and they're already balanced. I have 3 Ks, so I'm going to put a 3 there to do my Ks. Now my H's. I have 3 H's here and 3 H's here, so that makes how many?
6.
How do I get 6 here?
3.
That's 3 O's and 3 O's.
Yay.
So what would the
So
coefficients be?
3, 1, 1, 3.
So sometimes if we get stuck, we need to see if we can add.
Yep. All right. And the last one, 2 NAs, 2 NAs, 1 S, 1 S, 2 chlorines, 2 chlorines. Now I'm down to H's and O's again.
H's.
So 2 H's, 2 H's. Now I'm down to O's. 3 O's, 1 plus 2 is 3 O's.
What's the opposite? What's the
So it's only 2.
So
It just means
1, 2, 2, 1, 1.
1, 2, 2.
Yes, Herman.
So always, if it can simplify, simplify.
All right. So for homework,
Whoa.
Wow.
you're doing the front. Annabelle is handing them out. You're doing the front side of the worksheet. It's just balancing. Do not lose the 2 worksheets, the homework worksheet and the one we were doing today, because they have word equations on them that we'll be working with tomorrow.
Word equation.
Yeah, that's where you have to translate them into symbols and then that. But I can teach you what to do with those first.
So what are we doing?
You're balancing. 1, 2, 13 on the front.
Is the oxidation sheet gonna come?
Annabelle's coming with it.
I'm coming.
Let me not get too close to those lines.
I'm not sick.
You said you were sick.
I don't feel good. My stomach hurts.
Okay. Yeah, but you might have some kind of stomach stuff that's catchable.
Perfectly fine.
Right.
I've never had the flu.
Yeah. I don't trust y'all when you say you don't feel good in one breath and then the next breath you're like, I'm not sick. I'm okay, Miss Wall. Okay. 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 You're also grumpy. I hope you feel better regardless.
Everybody get one.